everyone. It's springtime, and the spring reminds me so much of new life. And this week I wanted to bring you a message, not from the book of Haggai, but from the season that we find ourselves in. It's September, and everything is budding. There's blossoms and new flowers and new leaves. But this last week has also been a time of mourning and weeping. Our small community, the community was shaken by the sudden death of a young woman in her 20s. And it was a passing of, it was just her time. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't violence, it was just her time to go. And then this past weekend on September 11th, we know that there's no other way to break the news but that the Queen is dead. And the rest of the West remembered what happened in New York on September 11th, and where the Twin Towers became a gravesite. And then personally for me, September is also the birthday month of both my grandmothers, and I remember them and I miss them, but I'm also reminded to celebrate their lives because it was fruitful and beautiful. And the Lord brought me to the garden, and this promise of new life as spring starts to be evident in all the plants and in all the flowers that are budding. I'm reminded of Jesus that was laid in a garden tomb, and Mary Magdalene in John chapter 20 goes with the other woman to anoint Jesus' body. But they find the tomb empty, and instead of finding Jesus, they find two angels there. And they ask Mary Magdalene, who found it hard to leave the place where her Lord was buried. And they ask her, "Woman, why are you crying?" And she says to them, "I'm mourning because my Lord has been taken away and I don't know where they have put him." And then Jesus appears to Mary, but she doesn't recognize him. She thinks he's the gardener. And he asks her, "Woman, why are you crying?" And she answers him with the same. And then he calls out her name and says, "Mary." And she comes to this realization that it is Jesus, it's her rabbi. And I was brought to the same place. Song of Songs, chapter 2 says, "Arise, my darling, my beautiful one. See, the flowers, winter has passed and the season of singing has come, as flowers bud on the earth." And I was reminded as well to turn my eyes towards Jesus, who is alive. And because he is alive, there is an eternal hope in us for new life. And that this life is not all that there is, but that he calls us to live and to live for him, as he did to Mary Magdalene when she recognized him. He said to her, "Go and tell my brothers that I am alive." So this springtime I want to invite you to come to the garden and see the evidence of the new life that God has brought forth from the earth. And if you're in a time or a season of weeping, remember the Lord and remember that he has called you to live and to live a life of abundance. So I hope that you are encouraged by this message, and I will see you again same time next week. Goodbye.